If you know anything about me, which you probably don't, then you'll know that I adore the Bendy Lone Wolf series. The unique art style, deep story, and interesting characters all fascinate me and have done for years. Heck, I'm old enough to say I was there watching old YouTubers play the new chapter releases back in 2017.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
Mainly because I didn't own a PC and sadly couldn't play it for myself at the time. But in the big 2025, I've managed to play all of the currently released Bendy Lone Wolf titles. And we all know that I've been promising a video on Bendy and the Dark Revival for a while now. And I'd like to say, hold that L, you're going to be waiting a little bit longer. Welcome to Boris and the Dark Survival, a top-down survival horror game where you get to play as our buddy old pal, Boris the Wolf, as you explore the abandoned Joey Drew studios in search of various supplies that Boris definitely needs to survive. Now before we get too deep into the game and I tell you all about the various collectibles, audio tapes and various other secrets, let's talk about the actual gameplay first. Now you start in this hub area which you may actually recognise as the opening area for Bendy Lone Wolf Chapter 3 where you first meet Boris. You know where he scams you out of that bacon soup that he never drinks? Now there are a whole bunch of cool little secrets in this area, but as of right now you only need to know about the elevator room, which is how you can actually travel to various different floors of the studio to collect supplies, audio logs and much more. Now each level works pretty much the same on a base level. There will always be 6 items for you to collect, which range from spoons to radios. You'll also always know what you need to find, as they're on the main HUD just blacked out until you actually find the item. Now in most cases you'll be running and hiding from the ink demon, who will actually randomly roam around the area and move closer with every sound you make. Now he gets too close, then he locks in and starts chasing you down, which is when you need to hide inside a little miracle station, which is actually another thing returning from Bendy and the Ink Machine. However, you'll notice that Bendy is always just slightly faster than your default walking speed, but you can sprint to move faster. However, it will quickly deplete your stamina meter. Now you can replenish your stamina by consuming a can of bacon soup, which can be found in tasty eats machines spread around each of the floors. But back to the ink demon himself. For the most part he'll spawn immediately upon entering a level, except for on day 1 where he spawns after collecting 4 of the items. Then on day 2 he spawns after collecting at least 1 of the 6 items needed to beat the level. Then from day 3 onwards he'll spawn in as soon as the level begins. Now if you successfully collect all 6 items during the level, then Bendy will immediately start chasing you no matter where he is on the map. Now you can hide in one of the little miracle stations if he gets too close to getting you, but he will lock straight back onto you as soon as you get out of it though, so be careful. But after collecting all 6 of the items and evading Bendy, then you can take the elevator back up to the main hub area. Now that's a very simplified description of the main gameplay. However, in addition to the normal Bendy levels, you can rarely find different floors which actually feature different antagonists. These different antagonists include Twisted Alice from Chapter 3 of Bendy and the Ink Machine. She plays pretty similarly to regular Bendy, except that she is much faster than he is. This floor can only appear after unlocking the first dungeon, which we'll talk about pretty soon. The next enemy is the projectionist, who has his very own floor and will rarely spawn in place of regular Bendy levels. He plays the exact same as Bendy does in the regular levels, but the items you have to collect are inky hearts instead of the usual just random bits of scrap. The next enemies are the Butcher Gang, and you can encounter them randomly after unlocking the cage in the second dungeon. Now the difference between them and the actual Bendy here is that they will split up, so you'll have 3 separate characters chasing you in this level, making it very difficult to complete. The next 2 are just variations of the basic Bendy levels, except Boris gets various handicaps to make everything a little bit more difficult. The first one is the Lost One floor, where you play as one of the ink people. Now you can't move very fast in this one, and there are no tasty eats machines, meaning there is no way for you to replenish your stamina once it runs out. Finally, we have level 414, or as it's known in the files, regular_floor. Now instead of playing as regular Boris here, you play as a character called Boris, who is literally Boris with glowing eyes. Now in this level the rooms are much larger and more open, and you can only find tasty eats machines and miracle stations inside of the main room of the elevator. So that's everything you need to know gameplay wise, so it's time to talk about all the various collectibles and secrets you can find throughout the various levels. Firstly, we can locate 7 different scrap pieces which over time will form this wall art in the safe house. Now collecting all 7 of these will trigger a cutscene which directly tells us that Boris catches a glimpse of the man he used to be. Which if you didn't already know, most of the characters throughout the series are actually ink versions of the employees that were created by the ink machine itself. Now the version of Boris that we encounter in Chapter 3 and that we play as in this game is called Daniel Lewick, who is actually different from the version seen with Alice in later chapters of Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival. Next, there are 6 different tunes, which similar to the scrap can be found in lockers within the levels, and collecting each of these will give Boris a different song that he can listen to inside of the safe house. Additionally, there are 4 dance blueprints made by Emma Lamont, which Boris can find inside of toilets across each of the different levels. Now, each of these give Boris a brand new dance for when he's listening to his tunes. Now, you can also find Boris's favourite phone in one of the lockers. It does nothing of actual importance, but it does sit on one of the desks and you can place it in Boris's mouth during the levels. Next up, you can find 6 odd fuses inside of the lockers, which will unlock the pachinko machine. I don't actually know what pachinko is, but if you manage to beat Wally's high score, then you'll unlock a secret tape from Joey Drew himself. On the topic of tapes though, there are 5 secret ones hidden inside of the bodies of dead Borises throughout the different levels. Each of them contain messages from a woman called Miller Legner and can be played in a tape player found in the safe house dungeons. Now after collecting all 5 of the tapes, you just have to find a key and take it to the first dungeon, which is actually inside of the safe house. This is where you can unlock a door to free Alice Angel herself, which starts the level we talked about earlier. Now we're nearly done here, so stick with me just a little bit longer. Moving on, there are 5 padlock keys yet again found inside of the lockers. These allow you to free the Butcher Gang in the second dungeon and unlock the special level which we talked about previously. Now the last 2 collectibles allow you to unlock 2 brand new playable characters. If you collect all of the lost papers, then you can play as one of the lost ones whenever you want without having to wait for one of the floors to spawn. Then lastly, if you collect 4 candles as well as locating Sammy Lawrence's mask, you can unlock Sammy himself as a playable character. Now there are some secrets and Easter eggs that you can find within the game, the first of which is called the Golden Days Gallery and contains a boatload of fan artwork with one lonely patron viewing the art. Secondly, you can actually find the Meatley himself, which at this point is essential to the series as he's hidden in literally every single one of the games. Now to find him, you'll have to explore the levels and find holes within the walls that you can look through to spot different things. There can be a chair, a Bendy cutout, a dead Boris clone, a weird treasure map, and of course, the Meatley himself. Now at some point later this year, we'll be getting the official release of Bendy Lone Wolf, which is sort of a remake of Boris and the Dark Survival, but it completely rehauls the original experience. Now we got the first trailer for it in December of 2024, and it showcased some brand new stuff. So I've just got home and the Bendy Lone Wolf trailer just released, so we're going to be watching it and we're going to be looking through it, looking at any new little details that I can point out and... You get the idea. Let's just get straight into it. Classic little title card. There's Boris. Does Boris have a construction hat? What the fuck is that? We'll go back over this in a second, but what is this? We'll keep watching for now. We'll
Something else is captured.
Bendy Land. Oh, I love Bendy Land. Please tell me Bendy Land is in this game and that we can go there. We can maybe be able to play some mini games if we're ever so lucky. Me struggling at Bendy Land games is actually the first video on this channel that's still public. I think this is teaser for the combat mechanics, which were actually revealed. I'm assuming we'll have different weapons, like the mallet, the gent pipe, other stuff like that. Oh, baby. I was right. Bendy Land is here. I've just seen a man get clocked by a bat. And then I'm seeing these little spiders, right? Unless Henry and Audrey, in Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival respectively, are about 3'6", they should be a lot bigger than that. If I can watch, let me give you a visual representation, right? Give you a little visual. If I can stand right here and I can stomp on it like that, it's not very scary. Those things should be a lot bigger than that. What the fuck is this? What? What even is that? Cutscene? Boss? I don't know what this is, but the red makes me think of Bendy Silent City. Okay, traps are in the game. Welcome to Fortnite, guys. There's the actual combat mechanics. Okay, wait, what was that? Oh, hold on. That is where the elevator is. Oh, that might be a pretty cool mechanic. I'm gonna just... And then the elevator comes back down to pick you up. Up there and, like, actually in the level. First of all, this is a new level design that's brand new. But also, I feel like maybe you have to kill a certain number of enemies. You have to survive, say, like, 5 minutes, maybe? Oh my god. I'm not talking about you. The camera angle changes. We have more camera... The camera moves. We have more camera angles. It's not just a stuck on one camera, slightly facing diagonal camera. There it is again. What actually is this? I have no idea what this is. Is it a it might be a generator. That is actually, it does kind of look generator-y. It's just been clocked. Oh, what was that? Post it at such a perfect moment. Robot Boris here. I am getting boss vibes. I'm getting mini boss vibes. I feel like he's going to be some sort of enemy you have to encounter. This is... Wait, no, this is Ben... Oh, this is Bendy Land animatronic Boris. We've never seen this character before. We've seen Bendy Land animatronic Bendy, but never Boris. Oh my god, please, please tell me that we can play the minigames. You can't put them there in front of me and not let me, like, interact with it and play the game. It would be so simple as well. Literally just, you interact with it. It puts you in first person. You're looking at the whack-up, at the butcher bash. They pop up, you click on the thing, you hit them with the big hammer. That's all it takes. I'm seeing also an arcade machine with plushies there. Sell those plushies in real life. I will be poor, but I'll have them all. I want all of those. All of those plushies you see there. Okay. Is this... Now, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Bendy in Boris in the Dark Survival uses his Bendy and the Ink Machine, like, appearance, right? He uses his old design. That's the new design. Because, like, Bendy from Bendy the Ink Machine is more humanoid. His legs are, like, normal. This is not humanoid legs, if you're getting what I'm talking about. This is, like, weird. This is more in line with Bendy in the Dark Revival Bendy, so I feel like this is either one, Bendy in the Dark Revival Bendy, he's just using that appearance for him, and that's going to be the new canon look forever. Or this is a new look of Bendy, like a new appearance for him, maybe in a different cycle. Oh my god, Boris. So, is that a new dance? First of all, there's been a massive improvement to the graphics by the looks of it, and although it's not on the level of Bendy in the Dark Revival, it still makes the game a little bit creepier and it fits more into the horror genre like the rest of the series does, all whilst keeping that cartoonish vibe that I love so much about the series. Secondly, we have a brand new combat system, which we greatly appreciated to make the game a little less boring. In addition to these combat mechanics, it's looking like we'll be getting some new enemies within some of the levels. More specifically, the ink searchers that come out of the ground in the original game. There's also this robot Boris that you can see for a split second in the trailer. I can see him being a sort of mini-boss type character or just a tankier basic enemy. The last major thing I can see here is these traps, which can seemingly kill enemies. I assume that we can place these down in some way, but I do wonder if that enemies can also place them down, or if they'll naturally spawn and can damage us as well. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that Boris in the Dark Survival is terrible, or that it's the worst Bendy game in the series. Personally, for me, that title goes to Bendy Secrets of the Machine, which is a game that I still don't understand to this day. I just think that Boris in the Dark Survival is a very different type of game from the rest of the series, and I really like it for that reason. But I can agree that the game at times can be a bit slow and boring if you don't know what you're supposed to be looking for. Now that's everything for this video, but I have a big beautiful announcement to make. The Bendy in the Dark Revival video is back on. As you're watching this video, I'll have already finished the script and likely started editing it. I also have some videos on Bookshot Roulette, Lethal Company, and many more coming in the very near future. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then make sure to like and subscribe, as well as join the Discord where I'll be holding different events that allow you, yes you, to be featured in future videos. And until next time everyone, have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye everybody.